That's
But we
okay.
made it. I made it. I think I'm
Yeah.
5 minutes late or something.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not good, not bad at all, man. Yeah,
Okay. Good,
cool.
good.
So we're celebrating 40 years of Mayhem. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the current lineup's been just over 10 years, I think. Around that, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Well, yeah, 13,
oh,
14,
yeah, yeah,
something
wow.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, how does the current Mayhem lineup function compared to some of the other lineups you've had over the years?
um, this is the best,
Mm,
the most stable, the most professional, the most technical uh, lineup we ever had. But like that is, it's not like sugarcoating it
yeah.
because that's just a fact. Like we had, like a lot of other bands have some problems that people come in and then they leave, and then unfortunately we had also some worse things, like a
Yeah.
band member committed suicide, and then another guy got murdered,
Mm,
and then we got back together again, and with the blasphemer and the maniac. That lasted like 13 years or something like that.
mm,
Uh, and this one has lasted 13 years. But I can say that this constellation is much better than the one we had 13 years ago, with that other, when we reached the peak of
mm.
that other constellation before Attila came back in the band. So it's progress, and that's, I think that, like, also maybe it's a cliche, but you learn to write music in a sense. Maybe not the riffs. The riffs you make in the 80s could be genius, but the composition, it's getting more and more, let's say, for our own amusement,
Mm.
that we have to make it a little bit more complicated. Uh, to not to be bored of our own things and make it interesting and stuff. So it's getting more and more intricated, and
Yeah.
than it used to be. So if you think in those ways, we probably never been as good musically and playing together as we are now.
Mm.
But it's different. But we sound different. All the constellation sounds different, so you can't really compare it either, because every constellation had its charms. They all were different. They were the same. There's the same songs basically. We still play Carnage and Death Crush and all these songs, like we did in the 80s as well.
Mm.
But of course, sounds a little bit different with different. But it's yeah. So the way I see it now, that since we now are so well functioning, no, we're crazy people, so we're not functioning normally anyways, but musically, and as that, I think that this is going to be the end consolation,
Mm. Cool. Yeah.
probably. And then, of course, I mean, how long do you want us to play? How long do you want us to stick around? I'm thinking it would be cool to have a 50-year anniversary.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's only 9 years off,
Mm.
but you never know. I feel fine, but you never know. 9 years, and you start to hit the 60 years mark and shit in some years. Some of my band members also.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm pessimistic because you can see the Rolling Stones and all these people,
Yeah, exactly.
guys are still fucking touring. Then
Mm.
they're in their 80s.
Yeah. Mm.
So, but I always have these goals. I said, so I remember back in the day that we were struggling, and I was thinking to myself, if we can just make it to 25, it will be a life achievement.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that. Now we are celebrating 4-year anniversary.
Mm.
So it's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, we arrived here, and then we came up with this 40-year anniversary thing, and thinking to ourselves, now we have to fucking do something special.
Yeah.
So we put up the concept is to play something from everything,
Mm.
all the demos, EPs, albums from 85 to or 84 to present, and then when we summed it up. We had to cut it down to 2 songs per album because otherwise we didn't have time. It came to 2.5 hours, you know. It's a long fucking performance. I mean, if you play, this is also like physical to play. So 2.5 hours, it's fucking draining as fuck. So that's that was the kind of limit. So it kind of limited itself in that way. But and then we made a video to all the songs, and some of them are integrated into where we play on click with the video, and one of them is we bring back Dead on vocals
Oh,
from
nice.
1990 from the Leipzig gig,
Mm.
and I separated out his voice, and so he's with us on the Funeral Fog, and and another highlight for me was that we brought up an old song called Chimera
Mm.
that we had never played before live. So I was kind of skeptic if we could do it, but we did, and that is probably my favorite song on the 40-year anniversary set
Mm.
list.
Awesome.
I'm very excited every time I go out and play that because I love that song so much, and I never thought that we were gonna play it live. So I'm very excited about those, with the Dead, and also the playing some songs we never played before and shit. So
Mm.
we did some shows in Europe. Uh, Turned out really fucking great. So we're just very happy that we could pull off to bring all the production down to Australia and do it there
Yeah,
because
that's
it's a
cool.
hell of a logistic to do this. We hire in some big ass LED screens for optimal um, you know for the film,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
we put everything in, like we always have done. Like the more money we make, we just put it into the show. So in the end we sit back with the same, but fuck it, we want it that way. You know, we are our worst own critics, and we push ourselves more than anybody. That we are the one that are pushing ourselves, and always like we need to fucking do more, and it has to be better and bigger, and.
Mm, that's cool.
But it got us to where we are today. So I mean, that was the right strategy
Yeah,
for
man.
sure.
Demonic Rights was a great live recording. That's had some Aussie recordings on here, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Is there any chance that you record any of these 40th anniversary shows? Because it sounds like it'd be a great thing to capture.
yeah. That's a good idea. I I haven't even thought about it.
Mm.
The whole there is. I know it's been streamed already.
Okay.
I think it's out on YouTube. The Wacken show.
Mm.
Now that's also only half of the show, mind
Oh,
you,
okay. Well, all right.
because that was a festival and we were limited on time,
Mm.
1.5 hours or something. Uh, so yeah, to also, I'm sure that some other people working for us, like for example, the management and yeah, the sound engineer and shit, sometimes they record without us even asking for that.
Mm.
Just in case something, whatever, maybe just to listen back to it. Or so I think pretty much a lot of the stuff that we do is recorded and then used with professional equipment in case we want to use it. And I think that's what happened on that Demonic Rights album.
Oh,
That
yeah.
the reason why those songs were recorded, not because we were going to put on a live album, but because we just record. And then sometimes when we see we have material for a live album, and then we can release it. So yeah,
Yeah.
either that or it's gonna be online for everybody to see anyway.
Yeah.
Download for free.
Yeah, cool.
I
That's
guess
cool.
you
Yeah,
know how it
yeah,
is these days. Fuck it.
yeah.
I
That's
mean,
cool.
yeah,
And you wrote a book a few years back, right? This is great, the
yeah.
Death Archives.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I
Cool.
love it, man. It's a great book. Is there any chance we'll get a volume two? Like, because there's obviously more of a story to tell, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's set up as it's supposed to be a sequel.
Mm.
Now, the guy, my ghostwriter, Svein Strømmen, he's also the reason why I chose him that a lot of people have asked me over the years, different type of reporters and journalists, to write my memoirs or and I always said no to that because I thought it was kind of for many reasons. But this chap just arrived to my house doing an interview for some newspaper, and then he kept the question. But just before that, we were just discussing some shit, and I remember what it was. It was we were talking about live in Leipzig in 1990, and he said to me, "Yeah, it was Tuesday." He knew what the weather was, the address of the venue, and I was like, "Dude, yes, you can do it," because he knew all the blanks because he was such a fucking nerd,
Mhm.
mayhem nerd, that he knew all the smaller details that I had just forgotten about. Obviously, like what was the weather like that day? Who fuck cares? But he knew some nerdy stuff like that. So brings it back to the sequel. Now he is a weird guy, and he's not in it for the money.
Mm.
So I wanted him to just do it, and I had him in meetings here, and we were starting to do it. Then he fell off, and then he stopped answering his phone. And then my new strategy now is that I have to wait until he finds out it's a good idea to start,
Mm.
whenever that is.
Yeah.
So it's an open invitation for him to know that he can write a book together with me, and it will sell like hell.
Mm.
So it's not that, and he will get paid too. So it's just like he's special, special guy. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not gonna happen, and I need him.
Mm.
Or I don't. I could have done it with somebody else, but I won't. I'm gonna. He's the one, and he told me that his main interest was the Maniac area
Oh,
when
yeah.
we came back again. So we haven't even touched on his expertise, really. That's
Mm.
why I need him to do this next book. And the last book, it's going to be a trilogy.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And also, it's the photo book thing about it. This is more like a presentation of all my photos or photos I have saved up over the years.
Mm.
Now, the next book that was going to take the next chapter from 94 to Maniac quit again in 2006. That chapter, I always had my one-time cameras with me on tours and rehearsals, studios and shit, and took photos. And those photos were the ones that I was going to use in the next book. Instead of like all the photos that everybody has seen in Metal Hammer and the official photo shoots and stuff, which is, I don't think it's that interesting. So the next chapter would to tell the story of what happened with Blasphemer and Maniac, the whole thing, good and bad, and then present the records and the tours and stuff into that, and complete with pictures and stuff. In
Mm.
2006, when Attila came back, that was also the age where everybody have their own camera in their pocket because it came on your phone now, and that digital. So that was the area where the picture taking thing was over, or it changed, and that's so I'm thinking that that's ending a lot of good areas at the same time. You know, the ending of the photography, the ending of Blasphemer and Maniac. And then the last one would be after the band was over, like the epilogue, and that would be without any photos.
Okay,
because then we'll be too ugly.
Yeah, cool, man. Do you think we'll hear any new Mayhem releases in the near future?
Yeah, we are working on that. 20 sketches is already done, demos, demo songs are already made. Some of them are great as fuck. It's the same crazy, aggressive, violent music. Some of the songs is, I picked out 2 songs which I think is hilariously great. So I can't really wait to get back in the studio and nail down the next record. Hopefully within the 2025.
Oh, awesome. Good to hear, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Jorn, I better let you get back to the next one of these, man. I'm probably making you late, but thanks for your time, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks a lot, man. We'll see you in January, hey, down our way. Good to see you again, man. Yeah.
Yes, see you in January. You're right.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thanks, man. See ya.
One night, Nosferatu, Quasimodo, one is vampire, the other hunchback. 2 dangerous, deadly, destroyers of life. Experience 2 of cinema's greats together on the big screen with all new black metal scores by Demon. Nosferatu 100, Quasimodo 100, 2 terrors, one night.